Hello, fellow Americans. Again, I don't care if you're conservative or liberal. If you pay taxes, you despise Giuliani. He is a criminal who has raped people of all stripes. The Democratic Party is corrupt. The Republican Party is corrupt. But they want us to fight each other so they can get out the back door with our tax dollars. Stop believing the bullshit. Blah, blah, blah. I want to talk some more about the biggest criminal in American history, Rudy Giuliani, because before you vote for him, you should at least hear the other side of the story, which you're not going to get from the New York Times, which is a load of shit, and the New York Post, which is a load of shit. The corporations can't be trusted, the politicians can't be trusted, and most importantly, journalists cannot be trusted. As you may be gathering slowly, Giuliani is one of the most corrupt people in American history. He has more scandals under his belt than all the other presidential candidates combined. Today, I want to talk about a short one. Pardon me, I didn't shower yet. Sorry. Don't kill the messenger. Ignore me. Maybe stare into space while you listen to this. Let's talk about the Bentley grant scandal. One of my favorites of Giuliani's millions and millions of scandals. This one is a perfect illustration of how Giuliani simply isn't a super crook. He did everything in his power to protect violent criminals. He is soft on crime, and all the hype is bullshit. Listen up. When Giuliani was mayor, of course, crime went through the roof. Crime exploded. And I can give you many, many facts, but that's for another video. This one, we just want to talk about Bentley Grant. Now, it was very, very, very big in the news media. 2 attacks in Midtown in broad daylight. 2 different females were bludgeoned with bricks. In the middle of the afternoon in Midtown, not a dangerous neighborhood. These girls weren't walking down alleys. They were in Midtown Manhattan, and they were almost killed with bricks in 2 random attacks that were months apart. That's how safe Giuliani made New York City. And the first one, some white girl gets attacked. The NYPD just arrests the nearest black homeless guy and frames him. He's sitting in jail. Another attack identical to the first attack occurs, and they don't think maybe they got the wrong guy. They do what they always do. They arrest the nearest black guy. They grab a guy named Bentley Grant, a black homeless fellow. Funny thing happens on the way to Rikers Island, though. Bentley is, one, pulled out of a lineup by witnesses, so he must be guilty. And even better, he confesses to the crime. He confesses to the brick attack. This is a NYPD's wet dream. And prosecutors, they got a criminal who admits he's guilty. Case closed. Bentley's looking at 30 years in prison. Easy case. But one day they're taking him, the perp walk, and reporters are like, "Why'd you do it, Bentley?" And he says, "I didn't do it." And they're like, "But you confessed." He's now saying he didn't do it? That's weird. Turns out, and this all came out, Bentley said he was in the Virgin Megastore at the time of the crime 20 blocks south of the crime scene. He couldn't possibly have done it. Bad news for Giuliani and the NYPD. The Virgin Megastore surveillance tape still existed. It shows Bentley Grant, this poor little black homeless guy, in the Virgin Megastore, whatever, listening to the music. Bad news for Rudy Giuliani. Bad news for the NYPD. It proved that the police officers had faked the confession. They wouldn't let Bentley go to sleep until he signed a confession. That's a serious crime. Those police officers should have died in jail for old age. Serious. That's a mind-blowing crime. To frame an innocent man? Unbelievable. Giuliani should spend the rest of his life in prison for this one scandal alone. Never mind the millions of other scandals I could tell you about. This one alone. Giuliani, you're one of the lowest forms of life in human history. Trying to frame an innocent black man. Disgusting. But it gets worse. Once it came out, they had to drop all the charges against Bentley Grant, and Giuliani refused to investigate. He refused to find out how the police officers got a confession. He refused to find out how the police faked the lineup. He refused to investigate any of this because Giuliani actively protects police corruption. And we have one of the most corrupt police forces in America. If you don't believe me, read a book. There's a book called The NYPD, A History. And I thought, it's written by 2 cops. This is going to be a fluff job. They say, these are 2 ex-cops. And they basically say the NYPD is about as corrupt as can be. Top to bottom, corrupt. Brutal, dishonest, lawless. This is 2 cops talking. This isn't me. So, look it up. NYPD, I think it's called A History. It's an amazing book. But I digress. Giuliani, now wait, it gets worse. They didn't simply, Giuliani and the NYPD didn't simply try to frame an innocent black man because this was a very high-profile crime. They needed to catch the criminal fast to make it look like Giuliani was on top of the job. Giuliani's making the city safe. It gets worse. All legal experts said it's over. If they ever do catch the real violent criminal who almost murdered this poor girl, I think she was from Texas, if they ever do, it'll be impossible to convict him because, what are you going to say? Oh, he admitted it. Jury's going to say, you're fucking lying. You said the last guy admitted it. Oh, there were witnesses. The jury's going to say, fuck you. You said there were witnesses last time, but you lied to us. Just like OJ. Remember, OJ Simpson was guilty, and he was set free because the prosecutors lied to the jury, and the cops lied to the jury. The jury thought he was guilty, but there was nothing they could do about it. If there's any doubt, it has to go to the defendant in our system of law. The jury did the right thing. It was the police and the prosecutors who should go to jail in the OJ verdict. They left a killer on the streets. And the prosecutors do that every day. The police do that every day. Prosecutors are all corrupt. And I should know, as a victim of crime and as an alleged criminal, I've never met an honest prosecutor. But I digress again.